From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And it is time for the premier sports betting show. And this is the Primetime Angles. So let's go ahead and jump to our first topic, which is going to be this. It's going to be the Ravens improved to 8-3 on the season with a blowout win of the Bengals, 34-20. But there was some bad news in that game last night for the Bengals. Joe Burrow out for the season, torn ligament in his wrist. And it's in his throwing wrist as well, too. So, it's just tough, man. It's a very, very tough day for Cincinnati Bengals fans. It's a tough day for, NFL fantasy owners and everything like that. And it's a tough day for the NFL marketing department as well, too. So, that type of stuff is very, very, very important to the grand scheme of things in the NFL and everything like that. So, with that, the Ravens still had a great performance last night. They really did take advantage of a team that was fresh off of a pretty tough game on Sunday. They played in a very tough game on Sunday, but they figured out some things pretty quickly in that game that really helped them out. But, Burrow not being able to go, Burrow actually had led them to a 10-7 lead right after that had happened. Pretty much he throws a touchdown to Mixon. His wrist, he goes for his wrist. He hits the ground. And next thing you know, he's in the back and he's not coming back into the game. So this is what happens, man. This is the NFL, and it's a very rough game. That's all I can say. And when you look at the stats at the end of the night, Lamar did a pretty good job. 121.3 QBR last night, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, but he threw for 264 yards on 16 of 26 with a 61.5 completion percentage as well, too. Gus Edwards was good on the ground, 2 touchdowns, 62 yards on 12 rushes, and Lamar was able to get 54 yards on 9 rushes last night. So the running game was very, very complimentary to the passing game last night. So that worked out fairly well. OBJ was able to get open last night and have some big catches last night that were able to yield him 16 yards on 4 catches last night. But a big blow to the Ravens last night was losing Mark Andrews, the Pro Bowl tight end, to a season-ending ankle injury. So they're going to have to figure out a way to replace that production. And it's probably going to wind up being Isaiah Likely, a guy who was absolutely a stud last year when he did come in to play for Mark Andrews and everything. So they should be all right in that accord. Last night, once again, the Ravens defense did step up to the plate. They only allowed 272 total yards last night. They had 5 sacks as well, too. And, they really made it sure that they didn't, ease up once the Bengals backup quarterback came into place. And they did a great job. I'm just going to be honest. Jamar Chase was held to 2 catches on 12 yards. T. Boyd, 3 catches on 22 yards. Their leading receiver last night was their tight end, Tanner Hudson. And their tight ends aren't even used that much. So that just goes to show you what type of game that was. But once Burrow got hurt, the Bengals were pretty much cooked. And that's exactly what happened. But the Ravens still look like a team that's very, very, very ready for a break. And they're not going to get a break until week 12. But they do get an extra 3 days off because they are playing on a Sunday night as well, too. So they got some time. You know what I mean? And they get to go to LA, of all places, as well, too. They might go to that trip early as well. So with that, that's going to be a wrap on Thursday Night Football this week. The Ravens keep themselves in first place at 8-3. They now have a 2-game lead over the Browns and the Steelers, and a 3-game lead over the Bengals as well too. But I would not say that they are a lock to win this division championship as of yet. But they did look really good last night, and they did keep their standing as one of the top 3 teams in the NFL by most of our rankings. So with that, let's go ahead and move forward and jump into our next topic. We're going to talk some Sunday talk about another quarterback that was hurt, but he's going to be replaced by this rookie right here. Can DTR help Browns continue promising season? Well, I'm going to keep it real with you. I thought DTR was the best rookie not named Stroud or Young. Okay. DTR, if he would have played at Alabama or Georgia or somewhere like that with the skill set that he had at UCLA, they probably would have picked him number 1. You know what I mean? This guy is a versatile quarterback. He is the definition of a great RPO quarterback, what an RPO quarterback is supposed to be. He's a guy that can use his feet. He's a guy that can use his arm. And he's a guy, once he gets comfortable, he knows how to use his head as well too and not make those stupid mistakes. This guy right here could be the difference in the Browns getting to the playoffs and not making the playoffs this year. But I feel like he can be the guy that takes over for a team that's been looking for a quarterback for 20 years. And I know Deshaun Watson has been paid a lot of money to play the quarterback position for the Browns. But this could be like Willie Pep to Roger Maris. Not Roger Maris. Willie Pep to was it Roger Maris? It could be that grand old story though that they had Willie Pep to Lou Gehrig. Yeah, that's who it was. And it could be like that, but we have to see what happens on Sunday. I know everybody's like, I can only go off of what I saw before, and that was a quarterback who looked like a deer in the headlights when they played against the Baltimore Ravens. The guy did not know he was starting in the game until 30 minutes before the game. So, there was a lot that just was unorganized about that day. Then you go out a team that felt kind of disrespected that you weren't calling them the best defense. The Browns had everybody named Mama jocking like, oh my God, they're the best defense I've seen. And they're setting records. And they went and laid an egg and they lose 28-3. Now, it takes a few more weeks, and then Deshaun's not healthy, and they go to PJ Walker. PJ Walker was a good step for DTR to see that, I'm not ready at all. And they're showing me that I'm not ready. How do I get ready? Okay, you go into practice and you do everything that's told of you and you excel and you keep excelling, you keep putting pressure on the starters, you keep putting pressure on the second guy, and then boom, here we are. It's an unfortunate situation for Watson to go out because Watson does give the Browns absolutely the best shot to win at the quarterback position. That was proven last Sunday. But at the end of the day, the show must go on in the NFL, and everybody knows that. So with this move right here, DTR looks to be the guy that can guide the Browns to their first division title in, I don't know, the last 30, 40 years or so. It's a possibility. It can happen. They do have the split with the Ravens. They already have the advantage over the Bengals, who pretty much are going to live in the basement for the rest of the year. Big win Sunday. If they're able to beat the Steelers, that will put them in a split with the Steelers right there. They would be now 3-2 in the division, and all they got to do is have this final game with the Bengals, and hopefully everything works out because everybody has to remember the Ravens do have to play the Steelers and they do have to play the Bengals again. I know the Bengals probably won't be good by the time. They already swept the Bengals. I'm sorry. They got to play the Steelers again. So, both teams are at 3-2. So if that's to occur. So pretty much that's going to be what it is right there. I just really feel that DTR is ready to make the move forward. He's going to have a great complementary of weapons with Amari Cooper, David Njoku. Also, Elijah Wood has been stepping up his game. And then you see he got his boy Cedric Tillman there as well, too. And then Austin Watkins was the guy that was his favorite receiver in preseason, and he's on the active roster as well, too. I expect him to get a lot of looks and some targets in this game as well, too. He'll figure out ways to get open for DTR, and DTR will find the open man. That's what it's all about. So with that, will the Browns be able to be successful? Sunday will tell the story, but it's a one game at a time situation. And we know right now the defense has to have the attitude of walk with me, little brother, and I'll get you to the goal. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we move forward from there. All right, let's go ahead and talk about last night's boxing match, and that was between Shakur Stevenson and Edwin De Los Santos. Shakur wins the WBC lightweight title in a lackluster fight at T-Mobile Arena. Shakur, they gave him the best arena in Vegas. They gave him what they consider the top promoters in boxing because they got the ESPN deal, but they haven't been the top promoters in boxing in 40 years, maybe ever. You know what I mean? Keep it real. Top Rank is an absolute just con artist of a situation. Let's keep it real. You've had maybe 5 guys that were just those dudes, but you've been able to put on the greatest boxers and promote their fights or blah, 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 whatever. But you guys got to stop sitting up in here, putting people out here that are not headliners. Shakur Stevenson's not a headliner, okay? Let's just pump the brakes on whatever y'all was trying to sell with this kid. He is not it at all. He has one of the worst attitudes you've ever seen on a boxer. He's a guy that doesn't like the media, even though the media is in love with him. He's a guy that really makes up excuses after excuse after excuse when things don't go his way. Everything is always, well, I didn't, nobody cares, okay? You won the fight. It's good just not say anything. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to win any of these fights, any of these arguments that you're trying to put yourself in. People saw somebody who was running last night, okay? I understand the sweet science. I am the biggest fan of the sweet science. I love a guy that hits and doesn't get hit. But the thing is, though, when you are voluntarily on your bike and you're throwing 10 punches around, it's called running. It's not boxing. Floyd stayed in the pocket. Purnell stayed in the pocket. You did not stay in no pocket. All you did was just run around the ring. De Los Santos, though, you could be better. He didn't know how to cut off a ring. That's what it seemed like. De Los Santos was doing way too much posturing and way too much bullshit. So at the end of the day, I feel like the guy just came for a check because he knew he wasn't going to be able to have a fight with Shakur Stevenson. And a lot of people were upset about the way this fight was scored. I scored the fight 116-112. 2 judges in Las Vegas scored the fight 116-112. I know how to judge fights. I could actually sit there ringside and judge a fight accordingly. So don't question where I'm coming from because I know what I'm looking at. And the thing is, at the end of the day, in the first 6 rounds of the fight, it was a pretty even fight. And then by the time we got to the 7th round, that's when Shakur was able to take over. But that's when the fight got really boring as well, too, because he did absolutely nothing but run. He hits him with 2 jabs, a body shot, then I'm on my bike. I'm on my bike again. I'm on my bike again. Damn, boy, are you about to send out some papers or something? You know, I ain't never seen a guy on his bike unless it was the Paperboy video game that much. Golly, you know what I mean? It wasn't a good showing for a guy that says that he's the next up. He's the truth. He can beat everything that walks into the ring with him, all that good stuff. It just was bad. It wasn't a good look for him at all. But the positive side of it, he's a world champion in the lightweight division. He was able to win this title right away. You know, it only took him 2 fights at the division to go ahead and be a 3-time world champion. He does have a significant belt in the WBC as well, too, even though it's a belt that was stripped from Devin Haney because Devin Haney has moved up. And pretty much Devin Haney has the first right to go ahead and say, you know what, I want my belt back if he wants to. But at the same time, Devin got bigger and better things to do right now. If I was advising Shakur, I would say this: there's no way you're going to get back any, positive results from this situation. Let's just nip it in the butt, let it go. We're going to celebrate that you won the WBC title. That's great. If you're hurt, let's go ahead and heal you up. Let's get you right. Let's wait until sometime mid next year to get you back in the ring. Let's make sure you're still in tip-top shape, all that good stuff. Don't get distracted. Go dark. Stop talking to people. Just stop. Just stop. You don't need to say nothing else. If you are great at what you do, you don't have to keep telling us that you're great at what you do. Okay, so you can go ahead and dial back your expectations just a little bit and go ahead and just take it fight for fight. And right now, he's in the position to where, you know what, you're going to probably be fighting mandatories for the next 3 years. You know what I mean? So people have to understand that he's not going to be fighting against the best opponents. I know that he has dreams of fighting Devin one day. He has dreams of fighting Tank one day. He has all these big hopes and dreams, but at the same time, too, you have to be a draw. And right now, he is not a draw, and all what it would be was these guys carrying him. But if we do want to see a great fight or something of that nature, maybe, yeah, let's get it on. But let's not get it on right now, because at the end of the day, they will end whatever momentum this kid thinks he has. Tank parks him in 2. Devin beats him by unanimous decision. I don't care what anybody says. That's just what it is right now. So pretty much, at the end of the day, congratulations to Shakur. De Los Santos, you could have did better. You should have did better. You had the advantages to do better, but I feel like you just kind of came and got a check. You know that if you even tried to fight a close fight, you probably were going to lose a close decision. So you weren't the right candidate to really challenge Shakur. It's just that simple. It's just really, that's what makes the most sense to me. But at the end of the day, everything will be all right. He just got to go ahead, dial it back, celebrate his victory, then get himself prepared, try to get himself an opponent very quickly once he heals. So then he can start a process where maybe he fights 3 or 4 times a year. So then he can get back some respect and then show us exactly what he's all about. But that last night right there was a damn con job. And this is why boxing is in the state it's in right now. If you want boxing to be a mainstream sport again, you got to cut this bullshit out right here. And I'm telling you right now, if you're going to continue to be like this, the sport's going to continue to be a novelty. Okay? And that's it. And that's all. And that's a wrap on that. So we move on to our next subject. And it's going to be this. We're going to jump into some college football right now. And college football, we got the CFB game of the night, Friday Night Lights. We got ourselves Deion's crew, 4-6, going against Wazoo, who are 4-6 as well too. So pretty much we have Saquon. It's hard to do anything with Saquon right now. Real quick, hold on. Nephew he said someone tried to send him Drake London and Saquon. That sounds like me because both those guys are on my team. Bijan Robinson and Kyler Murray. Yeah, that's a big hell no, dog. You know what I mean? That's a big nah, dog, right there. Because those guys are absolutely cooking right now. And you got other guys that don't really know what it's going to be about. Damn near Saquon, damn near quit on the team once he saw that DeVito had to be the quarterback. So it is what it is. But CFB game, we have a good one tonight. Deion's crew coming in here as a 4-point dog tonight. The thrill is gone. The honeymoon is over in Boulder. But you know what? Nothing's bad. They went over their amount of wins. They were only set up. Look, their over-under was 3.5 wins. They went ahead and got to that number within the first 3 weeks of the season. Okay, so they did go above expectations, a game ahead of expectations, and they'll quite possibly finish up the season with probably 6 wins, possibly, because they got Washington State tonight, and then they got Utah next week, who's shorthanded. And possibly this could work out and they get into a bowl game, because if they go 6-6, they're going to a bowl game. Okay. But right now it's all about tonight's game. But there's another team in Washington State who struggled as well too. We're not going to act like Washington State hasn't struggled. Washington State became like the number 14, 13 team in the nation at one point, and then they just started getting absolutely cooked. You know what I mean? And they pretty much have been replaced by Arizona as the dark horse team in the Pac-12 in its final season. And it's funny because Washington State's one of the last two left. And they got some great news this week that they're still on they're still chair people, they're still on the board, and they're about to do an alliance with the Mountain West to where pretty much they'll house these two Pac-12 teams, but they're not a part of their conference. They just go ahead and they play against their schools. And I think that's a smart idea until you are able to put the Pac-12 back together, which probably won't be that hard because you're going to have a lot of schools that are going to be very interested in coming on over. What the Pac-12 is probably going to have to be is where you got the Wyomings of the world, the two Nevada schools. Who else would be available? Probably the two New Mexico schools as well too. It's going to become more of a Southwest, Northwest type of conference, in my opinion. It's not going to be the Pacific as much as it used to be, unless they go after a bunch of FCS schools. But all in all, though, when you look at the game tonight, you really do see two teams that are kind of pretty much the same. If you say offense, it's Colorado. If it's defense, you say Washington. That's why Washington's the favorite tonight, because the thing is their offense will be able to get off tonight because they're going against one of the worst defenses in college football. So this should be a good game. This should be a lot of fun tonight, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But tonight, as I said before, I do like Washington in this spot to go ahead and cover that for, but it's going to be one of the better games of the weekend as well too. I sense it, I can feel it, and it should be a lot of fun in Pullman, Washington tonight. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first break of the show. When I get back, we're going to go ahead and jump into the NBA. We're going to jump into the NBA. We're going to talk Lakers, and we're going to talk NBA Friday night. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of two Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another, and Nyquist. Also trained two-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
Right, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. In the state of the Lakers tonight, we got the Lakers playing against the Blazers in a NBA in-tournament game. Now everybody's excited about the in-tournament because it's every Tuesday and Friday. You got a full slate. You got games. You got teams actually trying things of that nature. So you don't really have games where they're locks for you like in the regular NBA season. These games are actually games that are played like playoff games, and I like it. I told you guys it was going to be good. Everybody, and I don't know, and then, oh, why do you want to do this? Oh, why do you want to do this? Dude, the NBA just is trying to evolve and figure out things to keep you people entertained. Damn, just let them try to figure it out. Jeez Louise. The better competition, the better motivation for these guys. You know what I mean? Now instead of, sitting out LeBron and AD tonight, you're going to actually play the Blazers straight up. You know what I mean? Come on, dude. That should be a compliment in itself right there. But we got ourselves a very good situation tonight. The Lakers already had a good game against the Blazers. They didn't blow out the Blazers, but they did, they did beat them, you know what I mean? And they came back the next night. They beat they beat Memphis by 27, then proceed to lose by 15. The Lakers won 3 in a row before losing to the Kings the other night. So that was absolutely on time for the Lakers. But once again, the Lakers have an even record. So when you look at the stats, LeBron's leading the team in scoring once again this year, 24.6 a game. AD's getting 11.6 rebounds a game. And this is a good stat for D'Angelo Russell. He's getting 6.6 a game. So their big three is coming together the way that a lot of us are envisioning it. And the Lakers are fourth in field goal percentage as well, too. So that's a pretty good barometer for where the Lakers are headed to. Just the other things that they need to step up their game on. But when it comes to block shots, the Lakers are the best in the league. They are number one with almost 7 blocks a game. They got to kind of tighten up on these turnovers. 14.4 is not that's not good. And then when you're allowing as many points as the Lakers, that's not a good thing either. So, they got to do better. They know that. And I'm looking at these stats right now. The Lakers are really not in the mix of things as of yet, but they can step it up to get to the point to where they are back to being one of the better teams in the Western Conference. They're not going to be the best team in the conference because the best team in the conference is already the Nuggets right now. But the Nuggets can be beat when it's time to meet the Nuggets. But right now, the Lakers have to focus in on building their chemistry. And guys have to, and I'm just going to stress this every single game, before every single game, guys have to find their role, okay? Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes, y'all got to go get rebounds. I got to say this every single day, but dude, you guys got to go get some rebounds. Anybody that can get this message to the Lakers, send the message to the Lakers and tell them that those 2 big-ass, light-skinned brothers need to go get their butts out there and go get at least 5 rebounds tonight. And stop wasting time. Seriously. Why are you sitting out kicking it at the three-point line on offensive sets? Stop. Just stop. That's not your shot. Even though Christian Wood's a pretty good three-point shooter, just work your way to there. You know what I mean? It's just, And Austin Reeves got to be able to just breathe tonight, stay focused, and try to make sure he doesn't turn over the ball. That's all it is. You can get maybe 1 or 2 turnovers, but just try not to turn over the ball. Don't do too much tonight. Cam Reddish is playing great basketball right now. Hopefully he can have an even bigger game tonight. And then Taurean Prince and Rule, they're kind of alternating their spots a little bit. Hopefully they can get themselves some big efforts tonight. If you can get 30 points from them combined tonight, I think that the Lakers should not have any issues with this Blazers squad, but the Blazers will have it in their head that, you know what, we did have the Lakers kind of respecting us throughout the game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we'll go from there. And, LeBron, you just go do LeBron stuff, right? Because it doesn't matter with the Lakers, right, guys? Because at the end of the day, when the Lakers win, it's all about LeBron. LeBron can have 5 points in there. Oh, LeBron was the reason. And when they lose, it's going to always be the team's the reason. This is why we have a real complex with the situation. Hopefully, this is the last year of it, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so let's go ahead. NBA Friday night. We got 9 games on the slate tonight, and these games are really good because they're all tournament games. Some of these games are like, wow, the spreads on them are crazy, but tonight it's kind of funny because we got 9 games, and I would say that we got about 7 home dogs tonight. I've never seen anything like that, and like 5 of them are like plus 8.5. So it's like, dude, you guys are really trying to give a lot of value to the home teams tonight, and that's something that's really tricky. So don't fall for the swoop. That's all I can say. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into our first game, which is going to be the 76ers and the Hawks. 76ers coming here 8-3, coming fresh off a loss against the Celtics. Then you got the Hawks, who were fresh off of a loss against the Knicks. So this game tonight, to me, really does call for some pretty good, I would say, pretty good volumes. I would say possibly you're going to get some defense here tonight. You got 236.5 on the spread. I think Philly is really in a position right where they're probably going to be shorthanded tonight because they have guys that are game time decisions and everything like that. So, I think when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, you don't want to take any chances with picking a side. You just go ahead and pick the under here. Both teams are averaging 120 a game, but I think tonight, knowing how the Sixers play defense, they'll go ahead and they'll try to lock things down and keep this game a little bit more, honest, you know what I mean, and not as crazy. So I'm going to take the under 236.5 tonight. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, we have ourselves our next game coming up, which is going to be the Raptors and the Celtics. This is going to be a battle of teams in the Atlantic Division. So you have the Celtics 9-2, you got the Raptors 5-6. Raptors are plus 8.5 tonight at home. Over under 223.5. We all know the Celtics always have some woes when they go to Toronto. So tonight, you have a Toronto team that's trying to put themselves back into the 500 category tonight. And you got a Celtics team that wants to just keep adding on to a very good start to the season. As you can see, they've won their first 9 out of 11 games. Now, the Raptors have won their last 3 out of 5, while the Celtics have won their last 4 in a row. So this game does match up the right way. Both teams are coming in here playing pretty good basketball, even though the Raptors did get beat by Milwaukee at home by 16. So this game comes back around. It's a Friday night as well, too. So this should be something that's going to have the home crowd pumped up. I'm going to go ahead and take the over 224 here. I think that the Raptors will be scoring tonight, and I think that the Celtics will be scoring tonight. And if you want to be a little cute tonight, you can go ahead and say, you know what, Raptors money line. Let's see if we can get a reward, see if we can get a bonus home. But I think the best bet here is just to go ahead and look at the scoreboard tonight and not have to worry about the winner. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, we have ourselves our next game coming up, which is going to be this. It's going to be our first Western Conference game, and that's going to be the Kings and the Spurs. And you guys already know this is a Wemby game. Wemby is absolutely getting brought into the real NBA right now. The first 4 games, it was a real cherry spot for him, oohs and ahs and blah, 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 blah. But that's kind of worn off a little bit after, guys have kind of shown that they still need time. He's already had 38-point game, which was pretty good. But you know what? You got to do more. You got to do more. But I'm looking at the numbers right now. Wemby is the leading scorer for the team at 18.6 a game. You're not really surprised by that. He's under 30% when it comes to shooting threes. Maybe they might want to clean that up a little bit, but this is one stat I do like to see. 9.3 rebounds a game with 2.1 coming off the offensive side of things as well, too. But the 4 turnovers a game, that's going to have to get cleaned up. And 2.5 blocks a game, he could do better than that as well, too. And so, Wemby is doing decent. I'm not going to sit up in here and act like Wemby is changing the idea of basketball. He's doing good. But, let's just relax. Let's not put too much pressure on a guy that really hasn't earned his due yet. So pretty much I'm looking at this game. You have a Kings team. Now they got De'Aaron back. They've won their last 4 games in a row. They cooked the Lakers by 15. They whooped up on the Cavs by 12. They got a good win over OKC. And, they were able to squeeze past Portland. But this team is playing better basketball. Spurs right now, they're absolutely dreadful. They've lost their last 5, and actually they've lost their last 6 in a row. And they've been blown out in this course 4 times. So, this is something they got to really go ahead and try to fix. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. Tonight, I'm going to go ahead and take the Spurs to get the cover because the game's on ESPN, and you know how ESPN is. When they got a guy they really like a lot, they're going to kind of tilt the game towards making sure he can win or damn near almost win. And, I'm not saying the game is rigged or anything like that. It's just how the politics of the league work. So pretty much with that, we move forward, but it's going to be a +9 on the Spurs tonight. All right, so we move forward to our next game, which is going to be the Nuggets and the Pelicans. This game is going to actually be in New Orleans tonight. You got a Nuggets team that's 9-2, and Pelos team is 5-6. And the Nuggets are without Jamal Murray tonight, but you know what? They're not worried about it because they have a great team chemistry going on. And Jokic is the heartbeat of this team. And as long as he's healthy, everybody's still in tune. Now, the Nuggets have won their last 4 out of 5 games. The Pelicans have lost their last 4 out of 5 games. And the funny thing is, the Pelicans just played Denver not too long ago, and Denver beat them by 18 in Denver. Now this game is in New Orleans tonight. Nuggets had to eke out a win over the Clippers. So, this team is starting to kind of, they seem like they struggle a little bit on the road. Their 2 losses are on the road. All their wins are at home. So this Nuggets team, what do you expect from them tonight? You expect this team to play hard and be a team that is just overbet tonight as well, too. They got a 5.5 point spread on the road, all that good stuff. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and shock the system a little bit. I'm going to take the Pelicans at home because they always play up to it. And I'm going to take them with the money line tonight with the +165. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be the bet right there. So we move forward, and let's go ahead and jump into our next game before we go to our commercial break, and that's going to be this. It's going to be the Clippers and the Rockets, and the Clippers and Rockets tonight. And don't think I made any mistakes. This is the right records for both of these teams. Unbelievable. The Rockets are 6-3 right now, and this is after getting blown out by Orlando opening night. And the Clippers, after starting the season so well and having this smooth look to them, they're now 3-7 since pretty much Harden got there. They haven't won a game, and I think they've lost their last 5 in a row since Harden got there, or maybe 6 in a row. I don't know, but they haven't been good because those guys that got traded for Harden were very key pieces to what chemistry the Clippers had built over the last 5 years. And those guys were core players to that situation. Now they're sitting over here trying to restart with 2 guys that pretty much have been getting tossed around the NBA together for the last few years. You got Harden and PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker is a guy that went down to Miami and they literally said, get the hell out of here. And that's, and he goes back over to Philadelphia. Philadelphia kind of overpaid him a little bit, and they know that, and they sent him to he's almost a valet for Harden, so they sent him to LA with Harden. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. But this team might need to look at firing Tyronn Lue. I don't like to say fire the coach and things like that, but Tyronn Lue's already shown you what he's about, what he is, what he's capable of doing, and how far he can get you. You know what? The guy can't win a championship without a guy named LeBron, because we know LeBron was really coaching that team, and Tyronn was just there with his arms folded. So, at the end of the day, he's done a great job with a team that was already built to win. You could have me coaching the Clippers out there right now, and they would have had the same results. These guys are that good. That's the thing. It's not like Tyronn Lue is some master motivator, some master play caller, or something of that nature. He's just a guy that's been able to sit on the bench for the last 20 years and soak up a lot of paychecks for just being able to just coming to work. That's all it is. And I think that, you know what, the jig is up and they need to really think about really firing his ass, to keep it honest with you, because if they can't get this fixed, it's because really they're not listening to him. And yes, I think that you know, Russell Westbrook saying I'll come off the bench is really a great gesture, because that means that he's willing to see exactly what will work and not work. And you know what? This worked a little bit when he was with the Lakers when he came off the bench. Everybody suggested Russell come off the bench. Russ, come off the bench. Russ, come off the bench. Russ, come off the bench. And then, you know what? He gave in. He came off the bench. And you know what? It really kind of revitalized his career. And then it became a situation where he got to the Clippers. Should we bring him off the bench still, or should we start him? They decided to start him. So pretty much what happens in that regard is that now he's starting. So to make Harden more comfortable, he says, I'll come off the bench for him so he can get comfortable, so we don't have to mess up the continuity of what the team got's going on. But really, we can let him be the primary ball handler like he wants to be, so then we don't have to share the rock as much with each other. And then when I come in the game, I can lead our second unit and have them right, because I fit better with that group. And I think that's the right thing to do, because you can still have two of your stars on the court at the same time. You don't need to start all four. We're not in an NBA where it's conducive for you to start four all-stars that are already established players in this day and age. You really didn't do it back in the day when you had that situation going as well too. You put guys in places so then they can make the others look good in other units. So that gives you a complete team. And then when you have your best lineup in the game, that's usually the finishing lineup. So that's the way that the Clippers need to approach this situation. There's a lot of excitement with this team, but they haven't been able to organize anything yet. And that's why I say it falls back onto the coach. Not being prepared to take this team to the next level when they hand him another MVP. They have had the luxury of getting some of the best players that were top players throughout this last decade, and it's just absolutely silly that this team keeps just being in neutral. And right now, 3-7, that's unexcusable right now. We're trading players. We're worried about guys coming off the bench when you need to worry about who the hell is putting this situation together, who is putting these lineups together, who's trying to motivate this team. What you need to do is you need to tell coach, you got 2 weeks to show us that you can do something, or you are gone, because you guys got a few assistants over there that can easily take over for him. So with that, when it comes down to this game, I think that they're trying to get us to really bet up on the Rockets tonight, because the Rockets are 6-3, the Clippers are 3-7. It really doesn't make sense that this team is that big of a dog tonight. There's a reason for that, because they know the Clippers are due for a win. They're due for a big night. This 7.5 makes a lot of sense, because what will happen is a lot of people will see this as their big dog of the day, their big dog bet. They're going to trust Dillon Brooks, all that good stuff. And you know what? It's going to backfire. The Clippers are going to win this game by 10 points. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And that's going to be a wrap on the NBA Friday night. And when I get back, we're going to jump into Talking Tickets. So with that, we'll be right back. So this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles. And y'all stay tuned. Talking Tickets is coming up next.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
Right, here we are. We are back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into Talkin Tickets. Talkin Tickets, we do have ourselves some pretty good tickets tonight. Up first is going to be the CBB PrimeTime PK6, CBB PrimeTime PK6. 50-1 tonight. We got a Bowling Green minus 165 to kick us off. We got Davidson -6 tonight. Also, Fairfield plus 9.5. Harvard tonight in a battle with them in the Minutemen, UMass, plus 135 tonight. And then we have the James Madison crew, who's number 24 in the nation right now. We're going to take them with the 7.5. And then we're going to finish up with Oral Roberts, the Cinderella a few years back in the tournament. They lost that kid too. Abrams transferred out. I think he's at Kansas now. So plus 19.5 on the Oral Roberts tonight. We move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into the South Florida San Antonio bets tonight. I got South Florida plus 15. Also the under 35 first half. I like South Florida to jump out on a quick lead. Just a quick first quarter lead. I'm not saying they win the game, but we win the first quarter. How about that? I'm gonna take them with the plus 235, and then we take the under 41.5 team total. I think that South Florida will step it up on the defensive end tonight and put themselves in position to at least make this a serviceable game for them. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our next. And pretty much this one is the next one. It's going to be Colorado and the Wazoo bets. And pretty much this one right here, I got Wazoo -4. And then I have the Colorado squad plus 3.5 as well too. First half on this situation, and then over 14. I'm gambling a little bit. I'm hoping for 17 points, 21 points in the first quarter, and that will give us a plus 105. And you know what? This Colorado defense is so bad that I don't care. I'm going to take Wazoo with the over 33.5. I know this team has struggled scoring, but you know what? They're not going to have struggle scoring tonight. They're going to be able to throw out all their plays that will really give this team some fits. And then we move on to our final group here, and that's going to be this. This is going to be the NBA Super High Five at 34-1, over 224 with the Celtics and the Raptors, the under 236 with the 76ers and the Hawks, plus 9 on Wemby and the Spurs tonight. Dog of the day, Pelicans plus 165, and then we finish up with the Clippers minus 7.5 to get us a win by 8 or better. So with that, that's going to be a wrap on Talking Tickets. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. You guys are the absolute best. Nephew, thank you for participating as well too. Always fun talking with you, and thank you for asking me some questions that I can answer on the air and everything like that. So thank you. And you guys can always follow suit and ask questions while I'm on the air. You know what I mean? So with that, this is going to be a wrap for the week. I'll be back on Monday. So you guys already know what time it is. As I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. And with that, I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.